This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world, according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie! What's on your mind?
On the road again. It looks like I'm on the road again. This time visiting, my Connecticut family, and having a good time. Have a booking tomorrow in Massachusetts.
Nice.
A convention called the Wrestling Classic. It's the Wrestling Classic 6. Tomorrow in Springfield, Mass, on 99 Marble Street at the South End Community Center. So when I got booked for that, I was like, hey, well, it's Massachusetts. My in-laws are right down the road, so let's make it a dual purpose trip. And stopped up here today, going to chill out, go wake up early tomorrow, go up the road, shake some hands, run for mayor, come back here, hang with the family, and then head home on Sunday. So
love it.
I like dual purpose trips, especially when they don't involve flying. But it is what it is. I'm happy to be here. We've been here sooner, but New York is New York and Connecticut is Connecticut when it comes to traffic. So
God,
but,
which way did you take up into Connecticut? Did you go on the GW again, or did you take a different bridge?
No, I never do that. I do Turnpike, the Garden State, to the Thruway, and go over to Tappan Zee. Even though it's not the Tappan Zee, it's the new bridge, but it's still the Tappan Zee to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
And up back 195 through Connecticut. Sometimes we'll take 95, sometimes we'll take the Merit, and depending on what GPS says is quicker, and then cruise on into West Haven, Connecticut, where we're at right now.
Nice.
Well, I say cruise, but again,
right, when we use cruise very loosely here, it's more like start, stop, start, stop.
Oh my God,
stop for a long time and then continue for a little bit. Love it. Love that for you, man.
My calf is burning from all the braking, just jeez.
Probably rock solid, right? Yeah.
One monstrous calf that I used to tap the brakes, But
love that.
You know what it is, heading up here, and that's why we head up early. A drive that should take 2.5 hours or 3 hours, it takes about 4 to 5 with the traffic. Good Lord. But Mrs. Meanie always keeps the road trips entertaining. She loads us up a podcast, and we just jam on up the highway, and it makes it the time fly faster, even though it's 5 hours. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I'm just glad we're here.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad you're here as always, good sir. Happy Friday night to y'all, or happy Monday if you're listening to this on Monday. A pleasant Baba Booey to you. We're glad to have you here, and we have all of our friends joining us again tonight. Mass Sanity, greetings and salutations. A Baba Booey to you, sir. Pod Squad member Machete Von Kill is here. Machete Von Kill.
She brings up a great point. I didn't even realize it was Friday the 13th.
Happy Friday the 13th to those who celebrate. We're going to get into that in a couple minutes as well. Jesse Brown, Pod Squad member, is here. Good evening, friends. Good evening, sir. Lucha's here, Pod Squad member. Lucha. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Ike Ikerson, which we know who this is. It's a friend of the show, Carlo Carlson. Hey, Blue and Goob. Old Goob, love the pod. Makes Monday. Yes, it does. Hopefully it doesn't make Tuesday, because that would be a little weird, right? It'd be a little awkward. Be a little uncomfortable. Ike Ikerson pointed out right at the top of the show, hey, Goober, what's your Waffle House order, sir? There's only one man in the world who can ask you that. And that's Muscle Man Malcolm, who was a friend of the show, been on the show during WrestleMania weekend, and got Blue Meanie's Waffle House order. If you don't have one of these shirts, The Muscle Memory. Let me give you a little bit of a little taste here. The Muscle Memory Tapped In T-shirt. Go follow them right now at Tapped In on Instagram. They are available today. Go pick one up. Get yourself looking great like the rest of us here. And they have all different colors and sizes. I think they come in the gray here, which is the one I have. It's Tapped In Sneakers. Go and follow them right now on Instagram and check the link and go pick it up there. And go back and listen to the episode where you'll hear Meanie's Waffle House order. Sir, we appreciate you. Let's see what else we got going on here. Dustin Kings here says, Meanie.
What up, Dustin?
And he says also
Dustin's a good dude. He helped me procure the Super Bowl belt. So.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. That excellent belt there. Yeah. And we're gonna get a couple of questions. Don't forget, drop your Ask Meanie questions in the chat here. We ask them at the end of every single show. And Meanie, I'm a little hot today. It's hot here in Philadelphia.
Oh, it's
a
brutal.
little sweaty. So I'm gonna open mine up now if you're all right with that. It's a
Mrs. Meanie came to the rescue.
Then maybe
it's not a seltzer, but I mean, it's up to you. If you want to break them open early, it's our show. We set the rules.
Do what we want. Yeah, let's do it. It's fucking hotter than shit.
So what do you have?
So I have the cheap shit here from Aldi. I have a new flavor this week, Meanie. It's peach lemonade. I'm very excited to try this. Usually these are hit and miss, but we're gonna give it a shot. What do you got, man?
Mrs. Meanie popped me. She fed me a Surfside raspberry.
We're getting into it now. I love it.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Mrs. Meanie.
Thank you, Mrs. Meanie. She's the best, man.
Yeah, she is. So we're
Let's
ready.
Crack them open here. Yes, sir. 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, Tucky.
Not quite a Sandman, but I'll have to take
smells good.
Oh, yeah,
it smells pretty good. All right, cheers, beers, pinkies up, friends.
Yep.
Not bad.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, the weather in Philly is brutal, bro. Just
oh man,
just like is it? I'm one of those houses where the bathroom doesn't have any windows.
Oh God, yeah.
So
yeah,
you take a shower and you get out, and like there's no ventilation, and you end up needing another shower from getting out of the shower because you're sweating to death. You know,
and people who have never spent time in the city or have never lived there, they don't understand what I live in a townhouse, right? So my bathroom back here behind me doesn't have windows in it, but there's still enough proper ventilation so it's not terrible, right?
Right.
City bathrooms are their own explicit thing. Like they just exist in a vacuum in and of themselves. But it's like that at Delco too, right? My grandparents' house in Prospect Park was the same way. You get out of that shower and you're just like, I'm wet, but it's not from the water. It's because I'm sweaty and it's nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's brutal. I need a shower because of my shower, just
Mass Entity says not being able to properly dry after a shower is awful. Dude, tell me about it. It's like it's like a magic trick, right? Like you wipe your arm and it's soaked again. It's nasty.
Yes.
What was I going to say? Let me see. Dustin King says, I drove across the county to give it to you. Put me over. Dustin King says, we got you, brother. We appreciate you. Speaking of putting you over, I'm going to put you over here in just a second, Meanie. But I saw some photos on your social media today. You made a little pit stop on your way out there.
Yeah, we made a little pit stop. As you know, Mrs. Meanie's family's in Connecticut, and we're up here in West Haven, Connecticut, which is right outside New Haven. And along the way, over the years, you pass by and you see the WWE Titan Towers, which are no more, which is weird to look at. But even before it broke, this WWE's got the new towers, and then we would pass by the new towers all the time and just wave hello, hey, how you doing? But then you come to find out they got this massive, speaking of belts, they have a massive statue of the WWF Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. And I was like, you know what? We're going to Connecticut tomorrow. We're leaving early enough. let's make a pit stop. So Mrs. Meanie fed it into the GPS, and we went up and found a place to park, and I had a nice little stroll over to where the belt was, and did some photos. And then back in the day when there was like a thing like what was it, Foursquare or just we check in places. I would randomly drive by, and while I'm driving, I would check in at the headquarters, just get people talking. I was like, look, I'll go up and take photos. We'll take photos. Either people go, oh, that's cute, or they go, oh, what's he doing there? But leave it to me to try to start a controversy on Friday when everybody's at SmackDown, wherever they are tonight. So not the wisest, but it was cool, man. It was cool to see the new towers. Now that they're actually towers. It's funny they call it, the Titan Towers before weren't really a tower. I mean, it might have been 6 stories, but yeah, just to look at the new place they got, it's pretty impressive, and we were walking back to the car, and of course, get spotted outside the building as he walked. A lot of people, people say to me, oh man, you really don't realize what goes on around you. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So Mrs. Meanie saw somebody, smiling at me, and she smiled at him, and it's like, Blue Meanie? I was like, yeah. And, had a little mini meet and greet outside the Titan Towers, which is pretty cool. But, I just figured stop by, see what the new digs look like. Yeah. And it was interesting. It was pretty cool.
That is cool, man. Yeah. And this is my time of the show, friends, where I advocate on behalf of the Blue Meanie, because guys, we have a Rob Van Dam action figure, and we have the Dudley Boys with the Sandman now. But what we need, really, guys, we need the Blue Meanie back on a Legends contract, because he could pop up under the ring at any point. Like, maybe he's there right now. He could be there.
Yeah,
so Papa H.
This is just a ruse. I'm really under the ring.
Papa H, I know you're listening to the show. Hunter, Paul, if I can be so bold, sir, we need this. So let's make it happen. Bruce, I know you're out there somewhere listening. We need this, guys. I want to see this happen for you, sir. But hey, now look, you guys had a good time.
No arguments for me.
I have yet to be up there. I was supposed to go there. I think it was a couple months ago. It was sometime in the winter. They were doing one of the Netflix events or something. Maybe it was before WrestleMania. I couldn't get the day off the work to go, but it looks pretty cool up there, man. I got to tell you, I've heard lots of good things about the new digs. So
yeah, it looks great. Pretty dope. They have an enormous American flag on the roof. I was like, man, that is a big flag. That is a mighty flag. Just like. Not saying anything about it. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a flag that big, other than something that they put out to cover a football field when they play the anthem. But I mean, good Lord, that is but hey, more power to them, like I said, the new towers look amazing. Hopefully one day I get an invite, to check them out, but I still get this, it's pretty cool to say I was to the original, Titan Towers, and got to spend some time in there back in the day when they had us go up for a Dory Funk Dojo, and we would start our days off at the tower and go into the gym. They, everybody saw, in the Ico Pro commercials, or when WBF Body Stars would be on USA Network or whatever, and got to work out in the gym, got to sit there and have breakfast in the commissary there at the towers. So got to spend some time at the original towers, which is kind of cool to say, because there'll be a generation of superstars that probably will never get to say that they got to do that. Most of the current roster has done both buildings, but I'm glad I could be OG Titan Tower guy.
Love it. I love it. I got to give a quick shout out here to my buddy Sir Wilkins is in the chat. Wilkins, let's go. Papa is here. Adam's so sexy. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Those muscles are looking great in all the videos. Go and give him a follow right now. He's the loudest guy on Instagram, Sir Wilkins. Go and check him out. Thank you for joining us, sir. Love it, sir. Lucha Wilkins with his thirst trapping here. Lucha says, I think the flag is bigger than a movie screen. I think you are correct.
I would not argue against that.
I'm sure you could probably see it from space. Let's see. Super Goose 81 says blue is my favorite.
I think that might be a callback to Richard Christie. Hopefully,
Okay.
Blue
My
Meanie is
favorite.
my favorite.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
It's
I love Richard
Brian
Christie.
Heffron.
He worked me into two. Richard Christie worked me into two prank calls on the Howard Stern show.
I love it.
One involving a prank on Riley Martin.
Oh my God, yeah.
They were busting Riley's balls, and they were like, "Hey, let's do some shout outs for employees that work here." Here's and they're like, they did the Bart Simpson where they give them a bunch of full fake names. Like Haywood Jablomi, Mr. Jablomi, Mr. Haywood Jablomi. But then they're like, look, we have to put in some real names too. So it throws them off the scent. So they worked my name in there. And you hear Riley Martin going, Brian Heffron in the mailroom. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. And then
there is a bounty out there right now for that sound clip. I promise you, I will send you $20 American. Write this down. If you can get us that sound clip, you'll get $20 in your Venmo tomorrow.
And the other one was he just, Sal and Richard were ruthless with, prank calling, public access shows and stuff like that. But they called into a wrestling show on an internet wrestling show. And Richard was just like, yeah, I'm a big fan of wrestling. And then he started naming off wrestlers' names in alphabetical order. So it's like, thank God my name starts with B. He's like, Bob Backlund, Blue Meanie. And when he started, the host started like getting fed up, like, all right, we're going to put you on hold. All right, we know the wrestlers' names, blah, blah, blah. And he comes back. Are you ready to continue your call? He goes, yeah. And he starts listing off more names. And it's just like, But, it's pretty cool to say, Richard Christie was, the reason I got to, have two unofficial appearances on the Howard Stern show.
That's amazing. I love when we get to talk about Stern on the show, guys. It's amazing. Shackelford's here, by the way. Andrew Bailey in the house. Oquan Tunganwan. That is a deep cut, sir. That is a deep cut. That is Riley Martin's alien language, I believe. Brandon Kuhn says Sal and Richard's segment with Chris Canyon was great. Canyon slapped the shit out of Sal. I actually don't remember that one.
I'd have to go back.
Remember that one. Yeah.
But I definitely remember Canyon was on there. That was pretty cool.
Yep. We thank you for all of the good stuff here. What else? I saw something in here too. We were going to talk about, but actually, speaking of podcasts, I actually wanted to ask you about this. I don't know if you had a chance to catch up on any of your documentaries recently, but I got a drop today on my Netflix, which I didn't realize, but I got a drop today on the Ocean Gate documentary with the Titan submersible. Have you had a chance to watch that?
I have not had a chance to watch it.
Man, I'll tell you what, dude, I was not prepared for the level of idiocy that I saw from that CEO. Like, I was not prepared. Like, you watch the show, and I won't spoil it for you. If anybody's,
I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to laugh because it's a tragedy, but I love your use of the word idiot. What did you say?
Idiocy. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I popped for the usage of that word.
It's just, you watch this and you're like, oh my God. If you want to watch it, definitely check it out. Like I said, I won't spoil it for you because it's really well done. But the level of things that could have been done and should have been done were not. And you leave it very frustrated, and you kind of have an idea, right? After watching listening to all those different news stories and different things about it all, you kind of have an idea that things went south with that whole thing pretty quickly. But man, so frustrated by the end of that one. So if you get a chance, you definitely should watch it.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it. I mean, like I said, I could watch a documentary on paint drying, and soap entertaining, but I haven't had a chance to watch that one yet. The latest documentary we watched is the documentary on the Karen Reed situation, the Karen Reed trial. Are you up on that?
I am not, but I'm Googling it right now. Tell me about that.
Well, Karen Reed is a woman who was dating a police officer, and without going into details because I don't want to spoil it, she's accused of running over a Boston police officer who was her
Oh,
boyfriend. But in the details, you kind of wonder if she might have been framed. So, and this covers like the first trial. They had they had a trial, and the second trial is currently going on right now. So I don't want to go into too many details, but
I see.
you watch that and you're like, man, there's a lot of jaw dropping moments, especially some in courtroom stuff that
Mm.
you're like, whew, that's a little bit stiff, but you know, like I say, I can watch a documentary on anything, and I'll definitely check out the Ocean Gate one for
See,
sure.
I was just reading a little bit on CNN about the Karen Reed story. If that's the case, it reminds me a little bit of Making a Murderer. With
Yeah,
that documentary. I still can't get over that, man. I don't know if I'll ever feel truly settled about that with Stephen Avery and like it's just there's something about that case that just like even if he I don't know, like even if he did do it, it still feels like there was enough evidence to suggest that he probably didn't. Like I think for me it was the blood tube that had the needle puncture mark in it. Like how does that happen?
right, right. Yeah, there's a lot of things with that, and that case was so divisive because then you get the people who are, you know, for or on his side, and then there's
Yeah.
people who, oh, he did it, and I kind of experienced that back in the day when it came to the West Memphis 3 documentaries, Paradise
Mhm.
Lost. They did Paradise Lost 1, 2, and 3, and then there was a second independent documentary by Peter Jackson called West of Memphis, which kind of was a mashup of all those documentaries put together with, they put a bow on the whole situation. But yeah, there's definitely people who you're on. There's no in between with that case. You're either they were guilty or they're innocent. And
Yeah.
back in back in the day, uh, well, uh, recently within like the last 10 years, I've kind of one of the members of the West Memphis Three was, um, big Damian Eccles,
Mm.
and big wrestling fan. We have a mutual friend who introduced us, a guy named Danny Bland, and I told Damien this, and he kind of popped. But back in the day when there was the free West Memphis 3 case, and the hashtag or the signs would say free the WM3. So me being a follower, I'm posting West Memphis 3 stuff everywhere, like
Yeah.
you know message boards and whatever. But whenever I posted free the West Memphis 3, the free the WM3 on a wrestling board, people thought I was talking about WrestleMania 3.
Uh,
So I got the chance to start talking to Damien. I was like, and Damien's a wrestling fan. Growing up, living in the Memphis area. Grew up on Memphis wrestling, and I was like, I was posting these things, and I would go free to WM3, and people are like, WrestleMania 3, we're at least up to 10 now. What are you talking about? Free WrestleMania 3, Actually, that's kind of funny, but
that is hilarious.
yeah, but that's one of those divisive cases, just like
Yeah.
the one you were just talking about.
Yeah. I actually got a chance to go and see me and my buddy Sean. We went to go see it was this attorneys. I think it was Stephen Avery's attorneys. They were talking about the case, and it was, right after everything got big, and it was fascinating to see how the levers of justice and things work in that case. And obviously, if you live under a rock, you've never seen Making a Murderer, like you should definitely check it out because it's
Yeah.
really quite something. But now I'm trying to think. I think that was the last real good. Actually, I watched the other one I watched was the Astro World documentary about Travis Scott and his concert. 10 people ended up dead at that show, and
Wow.
it was crazy. It was like what happened. I don't know if you remember, but back in like 2000 or 1999, Limp Bizkit did a show in Australia called Big Day Out, and there was a young woman who was crushed at the front of the barriers
Yeah.
during that show. And it turns out, from what if I remember correctly, the concert promoters were actually at fault for not like getting involved faster, or like because I think Fred Durst had been like, "We got to get out of here, like we got to let her get out." And They got blamed for it. It was a lot like what happened with the Travis Scott thing. But man, what a terrible situation. But
A similar thing
um,
happened with Pearl Jam in Norway.
mhm.
I want to say Norway, where a couple fans got crushed up front. Dude, I went. Speaking of Pearl Jam, I went to see them on Randall Island in New York back in '96, maybe.
Hmm.
This is when they're on the No Ticketmaster tour,
Oh yeah.
and they're playing random out, unique venues, so to speak. And they're playing Randall Island in New York, and there's a moment during the concert where I guess people were getting murdered up front, and I'm up on the in the bleachers where you're looking down. You can look down on everything.
Yeah.
And there's a point where Eddie Vedder just goes, stop, 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 stop. Band stops. And he's like, look, we got people up here getting crushed up front. I need everybody to take 10 steps backwards. Everybody, please take. And he's like, okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And you watch thousands of people slowly just take 10 steps backwards. And it was like the coolest. And they were able to get the people who were getting killed up front, crushed up front out of there. But, that happens so many times. But, yeah, that's why I'm too old for that. I'm too old for pits.
Yeah.
I was never really a mosh pit guy, but man, I definitely have to check that one out as well. That documentary.
I went crowd surfing when I was. How old was I then? I think I was 16 or 17 at the Electric Factory, and I think it was. I can't remember which show that was. It was either Alien Ant Farm. Yeah, it must have been that one because then I was in the pit for the first time during a Soulfly show. Soulfly and Static X was the headliner, and brother, I was like, "There's no fucking way!" Like I remember thinking about it back then. I was like, "Wow, this is kind of cool." Until I'm like 30. Like there's no pit action for me whatsoever. If I'm going to a show, I'm paying extra to sit the fuck down or have a space where I can just stand. Like there is no general admission for me anymore. That ain't happening.
Yeah, for me, I at least got to be lower level. Not nosebleeds, not on the expense. Because you pay more to be on the floor. But I got to be on that first level. That way I'm kind of eye level with the stage. But I'm also a people watcher, so I like to look around.
That makes sense.
Speaking of body surfing, dude, we went to see Slayer at the Fillmore in Philly. And we watched him body surf a guy in a wheelchair. Just like,
oh shit,
straight up, lifted him up, and the guy was having the best life. And then, they safely put him down. And then he made his way around and they put him up again. They surfed him like at least twice.
That is amazing. I love it.
That's like the most amazing thing I've ever seen at a concert. And then a couple weeks ago, Metallica was here in Philly. They had the No Repeat tour where they do 2 nights in the same city.
Oh, yeah.
2 different set lists, 2 different opening acts. So we didn't go to the Friday show, but I got that FOMO from watching Friday show that we got tickets for Sunday. But I was watching video of the Friday show and they had Limp Bizkit open up.
Oh man, that was probably sick.
And there was a Santa Claus in the mosh pit. There's like a real bearded Santa, a guy who's real bearded Santa, going around the mosh pit, and they body surfed him, and it was like
crazy.
There's like close up footage of it. He's like, "Get me up, get me up!" and they body surfed Santa out of the pit. It was the best thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm too fat to body surf.
Oh, dude, there's no way. I don't like. I'm too old now. Like it doesn't sound fun. Like if I move the wrong way, like I have an issue with my shoulder because I slept on it wrong. And that was 2 weeks ago. Like I can't imagine getting up on stage, and fucking body surfing right now. That's just that's not going to work for me, brother.
Dude, I'm going through something very similar now where I must have slept wrong or my pillows went bad. But this thing right between my shoulder blades, it feels like somebody's just grabbing the knife and it shoots up the back of my neck. So Mrs. Meanie went and got me one of those, specialized pillows. And thankfully, I'm getting better now. But like,
That's good.
if a pillow is taking me out, if a pillow is laying me up to that point, I can't see me being in a mosh pit or, even if I was small enough to be, crowd surfed, I would need like 2 weeks to recover just from that, bro.
Yeah. Mass entities in here. I had a horrible back spasm from a sneeze a few years ago. Aging is a bitch. Dude, you are speaking my language right now.
Oh yeah.
That is my life recently, man. I'll move like literally you probably have seen me do it on the show. I'll move just in a certain specific way. And all of a sudden the muscles in your ribs are just pulled. Just fucked. And then no matter how you move or how you breathe, the shit fucking hurts. And it doesn't stop because you're constantly re-aggravating the shit. I hate it, dude. Hate it so much.
Did you ever see that meme of what the predator sees while he's chasing me? And it's just an ad for somebody with like knee, back, and muscle and neck pain. And the predator's was like, I'll leave him alone. He'll die. He'll die eventually.
He's got enough problems. Just leave him be. Yeah.
That's me.
Oh my God. That's yep. Let me see. Mass entity. Oh my God, dude. I pulled rib muscles putting deodorant on. That was a few days ago. Dude. Good God, man. I'm feeling for you right now, dude.
In the words of Mick Jagger, what a drag it is getting older, my friend.
We got a bunch of good stuff here about concert stories here. Mass entity says I had someone run directly into my head at the Electric Factory during a Dimmu Borgir. Fucking sick reference, dude. That Puritania is my fucking shit, man. I love that record. He fell to the ground after the collision. I hope he's all right.
You ever see those videos where a guy goes to stage dive and like everybody puts parts like the Red Sea? And it's just like,
thud. Yep.
Just get a spatula out, bro.
Mm-hmm. He's also here, Mass. And thank you for all the chats here, brother. We really appreciate it each and every week.
Got a lively chat going on.
Mm-hmm. I saw Limp Bizkit open for Faith No More, another deep cut in 1997. No one knew who Limp Bizkit was at the time. They blew up after. Yeah, I had a chance to see them in 2003. It was after Wes quit the band, and they had brought Mike Smith in, who used to play with a band called Snot. And they were fucking incredible. I don't care what anybody says about Limp Bizkit or what you care about their music. Fred Durst is like top 10 screamers of all time, maybe top 5. Like that dude's got a set of fucking pipes on him, man. And live, they were unbelievable.
One of the best, the best thing about Limp Bizkit and the fact that they've had this longevity, because they're having this resurgence now, is he started the band as a joke.
Yes, yes, he did.
Limp Bizkit was started as a joke, kind of like a Spinal Tap type fake band that just happened to catch on. And I got to I eventually met Fred and Joe Otto later on. I became friendly with the guys in Saliva, another band from the early 2000s that I thought I really liked a lot. My buddy did security for them and invited me along, and I became friendly with the band, and I went to see him at the House of Blues in California.
Oh,
and
cool.
I went back to hang out with the Saliva guys, and there's Fred Durst and Joe Otto. I was like, oh, check this out, right? Well, anytime I see somebody I want to talk to, I kind of think of, what do we have in common? What's a good icebreaker? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but former WWE wrestler Travis Tomko used to be a bodyguard for Limp Bizkit.
I recognize the name. Yeah.
So I was in Memphis with Travis, and he was telling me, Limp Bizkit story. So I'm backstage with the Slava guys, and I see Fred. I go, "Hey, Fred, what's up, man? We have a mutual friend, Travis, Tomko." And they're like, "Oh shit!" And then we chatted for a little bit, but he was like the coolest guy, most down to earth guy, and I could see where they could be like divisive when they first came out. Not really divisive, like where people are like, well, this fad won't last. But here we are in 2025. And I didn't see them open for Metallica, but I watched, the bootlegs, and, that night, here in Philadelphia, the skies opened up during their set and there's pouring down rain. They didn't miss a beat and they kept playing. And people were like, it was probably one of the coolest experiences of seeing a band in the torrential downpour, and they just didn't care. They're like, we're going to go out here, we're going to do our set. And after the show, their DJ Lethal, I think.
That's right. Yep.
Ended up unplugging his gear and handing that out to the crowd because the rain destroyed his gear. He just handed the equipment out to the crowd, which is pretty cool.
That is cool, man. Yeah, I mean, again, everybody talks about like how much they hate Limp Bizkit, but like they were probably the biggest band in the world for like, I don't know, man, at least 2 or 3 years. Like they did the Mission Impossible fucking theme song for Mission Impossible 2, the biggest movie of the summer. Like,
yeah, they had a couple good collaborations too. Was it with Redman? They did a whole
record with Method Man.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Method Man did a song called "Shut the Fuck Up," and that's I think Method Man mentions Big John Studd during that song too. So that's what I loved about Method Man. He would always work in pro wrestling references.
Yep.
Yeah. Fred always had a bunch of good collaborations, and dude, I got to give a shout to Fred Durst because I just saw their show they did in Florida, and he has blue hair now. So I don't know if it's his hair or a wig, but I'm just going to pretend that's a subtle reference to me, even though I know it's not.
He's given his shouts to the Blue Meanie. I love it. He was in the wrestling news again. Braun Breaker. Apparently there was some rumor from some Twitter account, it's all bullshit, right? But some Twitter account said, "Oh, Braun Breaker is in talks for Limp Bizkit to have Limp Bizkit do his theme song." And Fred saw this and was like, "Let's do it. I'm in." I'm like, "Oh shit." Like that would be something.
I mean, they're not above, doing a wrestling theme song. So, and I think, dude, Wes Borland's an amazing guitar player. Joe Otto, great drummer. Wes Borland's amazing guitar player. I mean, I want to say his outfit was Lucha Libre inspired. He had a full mask and a suit and stuff like that. They're great. They're, a lot of those bands that came out in the early 2000s that people are like, kind of having that resurgence and they're coming back. Look at Creed's touring.
Dude.
Nickelback's, still touring. They're having this resurgency, which, their music still stands up. As much as people love to hate them, as much as people love to hate them, you go, somebody's buying the tickets, somebody's buying the records.
They just did a whole album recently. I think it was called Still Sucks, and it was fucking good. Like it was really impressively good. I enjoyed it.
There's a really good Nickelback documentary that came out too. We just watched recently. I can't think of the name of it, but if you Google it, but it really made me appreciate those guys even more because he even talked about like the backlash, and stuff like that. And recently, I just saw a pretty funny meme. It's probably AI generated too, but it was Chad Kroger with 50 Cent. And the caption was 45 cents. Sent the Nickelback 45 cents. So
I love
it's probably AI generated, but it still popped me.
Let me see. Jesse Brown says, "Don't forget about the Roland Rap remix." Yes, they did. Redman, Method Man, DMX were on that record. That record went crazy, and Swiss Beats did the beat on that one. That was DJ Premier actually did the Method Man record, and he didn't want to do it. He was like, "I don't want to do this. Like, Limp Bizkit's not my sound. He doesn't deserve to be on this record." And Fred actually, there's a wild story. Like Fred had to actually like prove himself to get on a DJ Premier record because that was unheard of back then. Like nobody got a Primo beat unless you were like the top echelon of hip hop, and he had to prove himself. So let's see what else we got. A couple other comments here. Super Goose 81, you posted something in here a couple minutes ago, and I'm not going to post it on here because it's gnarly. But if you saw my face, if you rewind at the exact time I saw it, you'll see the face I made. Meanie, I'll sidebar on that one. Yeah. That's a concert story that gets saved for yourself. But
Super Goose has a good comment there.
Let me see here. Let me see. Dimebag tossed me Black Tooth from the stage.
Black Tooth Grin is a drink that the Dimebag Darrell named after. It's named after a Megadeth lyric, but they were if you go watch the Pantera home videos, they would put the drink in the cup, and I don't know how they defied this kind of gravity, but they would toss the cup and it would just fly through the air and you catch it through and people would just smash it and slam it down to the ground. So they would do that with beer. They would do that Blacktooths, and Blacktooth is Crown Royal with a splash of Coke.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
Dimebag's drink of choice. And it was, he borrowed it from or he inspired it from a Megadeth lyric. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. You caught one. So
Jesse Brown says apparently they pay-per-view stream concerts now. They're streaming the final Ozzy Black Sabbath concert.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of having the access to see it whenever I want to, but I also, there's like, I don't know, there's something special about actually being in person.
Oh yeah, but I think the stipulation with that is they're only selling so many streams, which to me is futile. Somebody, this day and age you can record anything. And what was I going to say? I think it's going to be only up for a limited amount of days.
So they're gonna then they'll pull it down.
Yeah, it's like when I went to the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert at Wembley. It streamed live once, and then you couldn't see it again. But then CBS had like a highlight reel. But of course, there's ways to get these things, and I have the full concert at home. So, the interesting thing about that show is they're gonna have a bunch of heavy hitters like Slayer and a whole bunch of different bands, and each band's going to have like a 30-minute set. So it's going to be like, 30 to 45 minutes, something like that. Okay. And so that means you're going to see all these bands just hitting you with all the hits, Yeah. I'm assuming it's going to be like one of those stages that rotates while one's playing, they're setting up on the stage, that band finishes, circle around. But if those bands are only playing like 45-minute sets, you're going to get all the hits, and it's going to be awesome.
We got Son of the Maniac says, I love you, Blue Meanie.
Oh, I love you too, sir.
You know what I love though, Meanie?
What's that?
A question. Oh. Nay, a special question just for you.
And what would that be?
Are you ready to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Now, don't forget to drop your questions in the chat using the hashtag AskMeanie, and we will ask them and get his take on everything. We already cracked our seltzers because it's hotter than shit up here. So,
it's brutal.
Mass sanity. We're going to start with this one because this is a fun one. How many wrestling sites are now reported that the Blue Meanie has signed with WWE based on today's post?
I don't know. After we get off here, I'll do a Google search and just type in news and see what happens. But I'll never let the truth get in the way of a good rumor.
That's true.
So,
I love it.
I don't care what they say about me. Just spell my name right. I kind of care, but yeah.
I appreciate that, sir. Let's see. We'll start at the top here. This is a good one. This is Mass Sanity says the first one night stand was 20 years ago yesterday.
Yeah.
What is your favorite non-JBL related memory of that event, and how much of it felt like ECW to you?
Oh man, I mean,
did something happen with JBL that night?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not so long ago.
I don't know.
My memory's a little foggy, but man, that whole event was like the perfect love letter to the ECW fans who had ECW ripped away from them. My favorite my favorite thing from that night would be I'm watching Vince McMahon watch Masato Tanaka and Mike Awesome kill each other in the ring, and because we were scheduled to be on somewhat after that. And those two were just destroying each other. And Vince is sitting there at the monitor. He's like, oh my God. Just chairs and power bombing each other through tables on the floor. And One eye's on the monitor, my other eye's on Vince, just like, oh, just
they're killing each other.
oh, bro, it was great. And well, the cool thing about the gorilla position is, there's the entranceway and there's the curtain, but that whole back wall was like not the locker room, but like, a bunch of the boys were on the back end of that curtain. So you're getting the raw sound from the crowd. There's just a curtain separating it. You're just watching the monitor, but you're getting the sound directly right there. And just to hear that sound was awesome. And, when WWE brought me back in, was it July that year? And, anytime I've worked for WWE and there's TVs and you're hanging out and it's a long day and you're hanging out with like production crew guys and there's like camera guys who work that show and they're like, man, I got to tell you, I've done a lot of events, but that was like the first One Night Stand was the first event where I actually took my eye away from the viewfinder, just to look around and take in what was going on around me, one of the cameramen said, he had to like, he held the shot, but he, took his head and just like looked around to take in the whole atmosphere. Cause it was just, my best description of that show is kind of like the AC/DC video for Thunderstruck, where it's just that wall of people going thunder,
Yeah.
you had that whole wall of people just yelling down and raining down onto that crowd. And
That's
it's one of the best nights in wrestling,
Yeah. Thank you for your question, good sir. We appreciate you. We'll come back to the JBL thing. If you remember it, just let us know. We can talk about it.
We'll think
The whole thing.
I think Philly Captain has a good description of what
I'm just gonna get that video cut and just put it right there.
I need that soundbite.
Yeah. Jesse Brown wants to know, what's the biggest what the fuck moment of your career?
Probably the day we found out ECW was closing in Arkansas. But I always say, it was like, it's crazy that ECW ended when it did, because the week before they were at the ECW arena, and like me and a bunch of, this is in the day of AOL and Instant Messenger. We're like, Arkansas? They ended the company in Arkansas, and no offense to Arkansas, but they were literally at the ECW arena the week before. And if you're going to have your last ECW show, have it at the arena.
Yeah,
but
why not get it done there?
I've had several other moments, probably like there's a convention in San Francisco in 2007 that was probably one of the most ridiculous things I've ever been a part of. And I often say it needs its own episode of Dark Side of the Ring. And that's
right.
It's way too long to describe here, but there needs to be a documentary about that show. It was the best of the worst things that could ever happen at a convention, but off the top of my head, probably, ECW ending, a week after they ran their arena, and you're just like, what the fuck,
Yeah. Let's see. We got one more question here. Let me see. Possibly a what the fuck moment with JBL, says Mass Sanity. Maybe. I've heard rumors.
But we're friends, so it's cool. I'm going to see him tomorrow. So
hey, tell him we said hey.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got a program. Actually, EA, I'll answer that question in just a second for you, pal, because I want to get this question here from Ike Ikerson. He says, ooh, spooky. Here's my Ask Meanie, since it's Friday the 13th. What are old Blue and Goob's favorite horror films? Hashtag thank you, Mrs. Meanie.
Favorite horror film? I'd probably have to say Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Just because, it's great cast. I love the movie, and Dokken does the main theme song for the movie, Dream Warriors. So I'm a huge Dokken mark. So I'm about to say Nightmare on Elm Street, Volume 3.
I'm starting to slowly integrate myself into horror, especially after the Clown on a Cornfield junket I did.
There you go.
I really want to try to like start watching some of that. I am a little squeamish though, so like some of the gore and the more scary shit is kind of gets to me still. But I'm practicing. I'm working on it. But I would say right now, out of all the horror movies I've actually watched, my favorite is a movie from the '90s called The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. It's about, I don't know if you have you ever seen that one, Meanie?
I saw it when it first came out.
Yeah.
I guess my favorite part of that movie is when the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket is in there.
Yep.
As ghost.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw it, but way too long ago to remember. That was the high spot of the show for me.
Yeah. Frank. So Michael J. Fox plays a character. I think his name is Frank Bannister, and he sees dead people, and he has to chase this demon through because it's a serial killer, but they kill him, and then he comes back, and oh man, it's just so fucking good. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, go out of your way to take a look at it. But that's probably my favorite. Mrs. Goober with the save back here, by the way. Mrs. Goober running. You can't see her, but she turned the fan on me because it's hotter than hell up here. It's hotter than the hinges of hell. So thank you, Mrs. Goober. We appreciate you.
That's a great line, man. That should be the name. That's got to be the episode name.
What's that? Hotter than the hinges of hell?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Let's do it, man. That I love that. Thank you for your questions, guys. We appreciate you. And EA, you asked a good question here, programming question. This used to be the Kurt Angle channel. What happened? Did you guys take the channel over? I'm actually confused. We did not, sir. We're actually a part of a group called Brass Ring Media. And so it's us, it's Rob Van Dam, it's a bunch of really great podcasts that are now on this channel. And we want to thank the guys for letting us use this platform here to broadcast to you all each and every week. And we hope you stick around, enjoying the show. We hope you've enjoyed it with us here. We're having a great time. But yeah, this is Brass Ring Media now. So welcome, sir. Welcome back to you. And a pleasant Baba Booey to you for joining us. So we appreciate you. And Meanie, let me see. Mass Sanity says, if you don't like gore yet, avoid Terrorizer films for a while. I have less than zero thought of watching those movies. I know friend of the show, Chris Jericho, is in them, but
one of them was filmed in Philly, where they do the right down the street from the ECW Arena, where they do the haunted. They do like a haunted maze.
Oh yeah,
they filmed. It's right near the ECW Arena. So
it's not.
I'm not a big fan of haunted mazes either. So, but yeah. Anybody jumps out at me, I might headbutt them. I just, out of not because I'm some bad guy, but like instinctually, Yeah. No, thank you.
Karate chop someone in the fucking throat. Yeah, no, thank you. Sorry, I couldn't swallow there for a second. I don't know what happened. My whole body stopped working. But we thank you for being here and being a part of the show. We appreciate you joining us this evening. And Meanie, it is that time, sir.
Yeah.
Keep up to date, good sir, with all things blue when they're not listening to the program.
If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, at Blue Meanie BWO on all forms of social media. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to pressandtees.com/Blue Meanie. If you would like to support Mind of the Meanie, go to pressandtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Madcapbeardcare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. Let your beard look good. If you're a bearded fella like myself, you want to look good, you want to smell good, get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. Shout out to Josh Thorne, who's doing an amazing job rounding up the kitties in his neighborhood, taking them to the vet, and releases them back better than he found them. So if you're a cat lover like myself, go to madcapbeardcare.com. The Ultra Pro Wrestling video game coming to all major consoles. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters by the amazing Hal Haney, but many real-world wrestlers, including myself and many others I'm trying not to spoil. Go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. That's ultraprowrestling.com, or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. The Figure Collections Bone Crushing Wrestler Series 1's variants of the Blue Meanie are available right now. All Series 1s can be ordered right now at shop.figurecollections.com. That's shop.figurecollections.com. Type Blue Meanie in the search bar. Select regular Blue Meanie or BWO Blue Meanie. Either way, there is no wrong choice. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net. That's podstrz.net. Register your podcast, book the Blue Guy. Let's have a conversation over there at podstars.net. Cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO for birthdays, holidays, and well wishes. Book through the site, not through the app. The app takes way too much of your hard-earned money. The talent doesn't see any of that cut either. So, but if you want to make somebody's day a little bit brighter, go to cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO. And most importantly, Mr. Bernard, where can we find you, sir?
Me? Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Blue Sky and on the TikTok, as the kids call it. You can find me there. It's at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand pal. So go ahead and check me out over there. Listen to my other show, Foundation Radio, by going to foundationradio.net. Listen to all my old archived podcasts. There may be something fun coming soon. Still working out the details. Looking to relaunch it at some point, but all the good stuff is there right now. Foundationradio.net and also youtube.com/@FoundationRadioPod. Shout out to the homies at the 10th Ward Barbershop in downtown Lawrenceville, in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go and check out the homies over there. Great shop, great vibes, great everything. So schedule your appointment today with Kane and Jordan and the rest of the team at 10thwardbarbershop.com. Forget to check out my work at Screen Rant. I'm doing a network TV beat right now, covering all things law and order, organized crime. One of my favorite shows on TV, not just because I'm covering it, because it's fucking fantastic. Go ahead and check it out at screenrant.com. All my interviews are there all year long. In the past 6 months, Meanie, I'll have you know, I got to talk to Bret Hart, got to talk to Zelina Vega, got to talk to Chelsea Green, got to talk to Sting. Yes, that's Sting. That's Sting. And Tony Khan and a host of other people. So go and check out my work at screenrant.com. Don't forget to go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Pick up a shirt and keep the lights on at Casa de Meanie and the Barnard Home for Wayward and Troubled Youth. Don't forget to pick up a shirt, a Muscle Memory t-shirt by our friend Muscle Man Malcolm and the guys over at Tapped In Sneakers. You can go at their Instagram at Tapped In Sneakers and pick one up today while supplies last. Don't sleep on it because it's going to be gone and then you won't have one like me. Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Sign up today. Tiers start, Meanie, at just $10. I don't know if you know that, but when you sign up today, you actually will get a Pod Squad membership card signed in blue ink by the Blue Guy himself. So go ahead and sign up today at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. If you go look above Meanie's head right there, it's youtube.com/@Mind of the Meanie. Our entire archive of shows is there right now to listen. And every week on Monday, you get to listen to this same program right there in case you missed anything. So go ahead and take a look over there and go and find all of our socials right down here as well for the show. Keep up to date with all of the things that are happening in Blue and Goob's world. And we want to thank you for joining us on your Friday night. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you joined us, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much, Meanie. Thank you for joining us again, sir. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to check out Meanie. Where are you at again tomorrow, Meanie, this weekend? Where are you going to be?
Tomorrow, I'll be in Springfield, Mass, 99 Marble Street at the Wrestling Classic number 6 convention. South End Community Center. So check it out. I'll be there. Well, JBL will be there. Mick Foley will be there. Ken Patera will be there. Val Venus will be there. It'll be a good time over there at the Wrestling Classic in Springfield, Mass.
And if you're going to be at Fanatics Fest next weekend at the Jarvis Center in New York City, come by and say hi to me and say hi to Muscle Man Malcolm. We will be there doing some press work, so come and find us. And if you do, ask me about the shirt. For the Blue Meanie, I am Adam Bernard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. That's me. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is performed by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at Mind of the Meanie, and become part of the Pod Squad by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
That was Blue Meanie's brain out.